Hey, welcome back. Tonight's lesson we're going to talk about the model that you see in front of you. We've got a couple different levels of extrusions that we're going to use. We're also going to use a cut to next extent instead of just a blind or through all, and we're also going to use the hole feature or hole wizard to create this particular hole. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to move a little bit quicker as you've had a little more practice with modeling. So new part, and we're working in ANSI and inches. First and foremost, we're going to start on the top plane with an extrusion. So select extrusion, pick your top plane. I'm going to use a center rectangle. Length of this part is going to be 3, and it's 1 3/4 wide. So smart dimension 3 and 1.75. So we are fully defined there. We want to exit our sketch, and memory serves me to be 1 inch tall, and we want to accept this. The next thing that we want to do is this little U shape. Please don't get constipated about this object line right here, because we're going to add that at a later moment. Alright, so we want to create another extrusion, but we want it on this top surface. So I'm going to pick the top surface. I'm going to use the Control-A shortcut key. That's going to orient it normal to us. Start with a regular line. Sometimes people will get confused that they haven't selected these edges, or they don't select these edges when they're drawing those lines. So one click to follow the outside. I'm going to draw that U shape. Alright, so we got a few dimensions. We want a 0.375. This one is also 0.375. And we have a 1 1/4 inch dimension and a 1/4 inch dimension on here as well. So from this edge to this edge, 1.25. And from this line to this edge is going to be 0.25. And notice we still have a blue line right here. There's a number of different ways that we can go about lining that up. I did use 3/8 and 3/8 on these two dimensions because that's the way it's called out on the drawing that we were provided. One thing that's not provided is 1 1/4 up here again. So let's go ahead and add a relation. There's a number of different ways we could make this line and this line collinear, but in this instance, I want to make this line and this line to be equal. So that should completely tie our sketch up, and it does. So we're fully defined down here in the bottom right. I'm going to roll our model around to where we can see what's going on. I exit the sketch, and I know that this is 1.75 tall. Our last extrusion was 1 inch, so I know that I have to add 0.75. So as I'm looking at this, if I want to use the top view, I can come up here and I can select the top view, or I can just use the Control-5, either one, as a shortcut. So I'm looking at it, I come back, and this is where that object line is. So this is going to be cut out from this corner. I'm going to do a fully enclosed sketch this time instead of just a line. I'm going to move it around like this. We want to select extruded cut. I'm going to pick this face, and I'm going to use a Control-A shortcut key because I like drawing normal too. I'm going to, let's try something new. On my display style, I'm going to make it wireframe so I can see what's going on behind here. So I'm going to start at this vertex. I'm going to come up, tickle this line, pull it up to this vertex, over to this vertex, and down. I have a fully defined sketch. It's in there. I want to turn this back into shaded with edges where I can kind of see what's going on. I'm going to exit my sketch. Now this is what's going to be new to you. So instead of being blind, I want to go up to next. So if I ever change the thickness of this, it will follow that as well. And the reason being is because we had 3/8 and 3/8 on those two dimensions. So I'm unsure what's going to happen in the future with this model. It may be used in multiple locations. So I accept it. Control-7, and now I'm looking at an isometric view from that shortcut. I want to we have a hole right here, so we're going to use the hole wizard for it. So it's going to be 1 inch diameter, it's going to be centered up, and it's 2 1/8 out from the back left edge. So hole wizard, I'm going to use a simple hole. I want it to be ANSI inch, so make sure that's selected. And down here where drill sizes, I picked all sizes. You can drop it down and figure out what type of, if you're going to tap something or put a dowel pin in it, whether you want just fractional sizes or anything else to narrow it down. So if I pick fractional sizes, I can drop this down and it narrows it down by 64ths. So I want to select 1 inch. I don't really care about custom sizing, and I want it to be through wall. So now our parameters are taken care of. We want to go to positions. I want to place it on this face. I'm going to use the Control A command to where I can see what's going on. So I'm going to place it out here. I know that a dimension from this point to my back edge was 2.125. Now my dot's still blue and I'm still underdefined. So what I need to do is add a relation. So I'm going to hit the escape key a couple times. I'm going to use the Control command and pick two things. So I'm holding my Control key down, select the point where my drill point is going to be, and then I'm going to select the point of origin. And I'm going to make those two a relationship. I want them horizontal. Now if you look at the three options that it's giving me, notice that horizontal is bolded. What that's telling me is this is probably the most likely scenario that you're going to want. So I'm going to go ahead and select horizontal and accept it. Click out in the model space somewhere. The little point turned black down in the bottom right were fully defined. So I'm going to accept that hole command, and now we have a 1 inch hole there. Control 7, and I want to look at our drawing one more time. So we have these two fillets out here. They're going to be a 1/2 inch, so we're going to put both of those on there at one time. So come up to use your fillet command. Make sure that your size is correct. Mine is supposed to be 0.5. We'll talk about these at a later date. So I want to pick this and this. I've got my full preview shown, so make sure you pick both vertical edges. You could pick all of them and you could use the fly out, but we'll talk about that another time as well. So accept it, and that is your model. You can go ahead and save that in your proper naming format and submit that in your LMS.